Hi there, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is May 4th, 2025, and you're here with Robin at In the Family Way Coaching. We are here for our daily reading of the Omer, or counting of the Omer, and our daily Bible reading as we go through the Day by Day Kids Bible, which has been written by Karen Henley. I am so glad that you are here with me today, whether you are following along on your podcast or watching the video somewhere. I am so glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining me for this event. If you are keeping track with that accountability calendar, go ahead and get that out because you're about to hear the Bible today. In case you do not know, I have a calendar available for you to download on my site. That can be found at www.inthefamilywaycoaching.com. Click on the tab for Read the Bible in 1 year, and I have a monthly calendar each month for you to download so you can keep track of your daily accountability for reading the Bible with me each year or each day. So thank you for joining me for that. In case you don't know, you also have the ability to support this event with a membership each month, and you can do that with any amount of your choosing by registering for the live event. You don't have to attend, but that's on a tiered pricing level where you can select any amount you want, $2, $3, $5, whatever you like, and that would be for once a month. Or you can subscribe to a monthly membership at a higher recurring amount at $5 or $10 a month. And I have that under the section of Part of the Family. So thank you so much to those who are choosing to support this event. I appreciate you. We are going to do our daily counting of the Omer. This is in obedience to God's commandment for us to do so. This started the day after Passover, and we are counting 50 days until we reach Shavuot or Pentecost. Pentecost is actually means 50. And if you would like to join with me in counting the Omer for yourself, simply repeat after me, and you will have counted the Omer today. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has set us apart by your commandments and has commanded us to count the Omer. Today is the 7th day of the 3rd week and day 21. I have counted the Omer. Thank you so much for joining me as we counted the Omer today. Yesterday, we had a wonderful reading where we saw God looking for his lost sheep of Israel. Israel, as we have been reading, has had a succession of very bad kings who deliberately started worshiping idols because the Jewish temple is not located in Israel. It is located in Judah. And in order to keep people from leaving and pilgrimaging to Judah in order to observe the holy days, we see that the kings of Israel have deliberately set up false idol worship in an effort to keep people in their kingdom. And despite this fact, God looked for them as he would for our lost sheep. And Jesus tells us that he is the good shepherd and he takes care of us. And in that same way, we see that God looks for us as his lost sheep so that he can bring us to himself. Today, we are going to continue with Elijah. And this will be in 1 Kings chapter 19. This section is entitled, Afraid in the Desert. King Ahab, and remember he is king of Israel, told his wife Jezebel what had happened. He told how Baal's prophets had been killed. So Jezebel sent a message to Elijah. I promise I'll kill you, and by this time tomorrow, you'll be dead. Elijah got scared. He ran away and he left his servant in town. Elijah ran away into the desert. He went as far as you could go in one day. Then Elijah saw a broom tree. He sat down under it and he prayed that he would die. "This is too much for me, God," he said. "Just let me die." And Elijah lay down there and he went to sleep. Suddenly, an angel came. He touched Elijah and woke him up. "Get up," said the angel. "Eat something." Elijah looked around and he saw some bread. He saw a jar of water. So he ate the bread and he drank some of the water, and then he lay back down. God's angel came to Elijah again. He touched Elijah. "Get up," said the angel. "Eat some more, or your trip will be too hard for you." So Elijah got up, he ate and drank, and then he felt stronger. And that was all he ate. But he was strong enough to travel for 40 days and 40 nights. At last Elijah got to Horeb mountain. This was the mountain of God. Elijah spent the night in a cave there. Then God spoke to Elijah. "Why are you here, Elijah?" "I've worked hard for you, God," said Elijah, "but your people have turned away from you. They broke your altars, they killed your prophets. I'm the only prophet left, and now they're trying to kill me." "Go stand on the mountain," said God. "I'm going to pass by." A strong wind blew. It was so strong it broke rocks. But God was not in the wind. The earth began to shake. But God was not in the shaking earth. A fire came. But God was not in the fire. Then Elijah heard a soft, quiet voice. Elijah pulled his coat over his face, and he stood at the opening to the cave. Then God spoke. "Why are you here, Elijah?" "I've worked hard for you, God," said Elijah, "but your people have turned away from you. They tore your altars down, they killed your prophets, and I'm the only prophet left. Now they're trying to kill me." "Go back," said God. "Make Jehu king of Israel. Make Elisha the next prophet after you." Then God said, "I have saved 7,000 people for myself in Israel. They do not worship Baal or follow him." So Elijah left, and he found Elisha. Elisha was plowing a field, and he had lots of oxen to plow, pulling the plow. And Elijah walked up to Elisha. He put his coat over Elisha's shoulders. Elisha left the plow, and he ran after Elijah. "I have to kiss my mother and father goodbye," he said, "and then I'll come." "All right," said Elijah. So Elisha went back, and he killed some of the oxen. He burned the plow. He cooked the meat. He gave it to people to eat, and then he left to go with Elijah. 1 Kings chapter 20, verses 1 through 22. King Ahab fights a war. Now the king of Aram got his whole army together. He got 32 other kings to go with him. They got their horses and chariots ready, and then they all marched out to fight against Israel. They marched to the city of Samaria. The king of Aram sent a message to Ahab. "I want to have your silver and gold, and I want to have your best wives and children." So King Ahab sent a message back. It said, "All right." Then the king of Aram sent another message. "Tomorrow I'll send my leaders into your city. I'll take everything that looks good to me." King Ahab called his leaders together. He said, "The king of Aram is asking for trouble. First, he asked for my wives and children. He asked for silver and gold, and I told him yes. Don't give him anything more," said the leaders. So King Ahab sent a message back. "I'll give you what you asked for the first time, but I can't give you anything else." Then the king of Aram sent another message. "Only dust will be left when I'm done with your city." King Ahab sent a message back. "You haven't even started to fight. You shouldn't brag as if you've already won." The king of Aram and his leaders were in their tents and they were drinking when the message came. The king of Aram said, "Get ready to fight." So his army got ready to fight the city of Samaria. Then a prophet came to King Ahab, and the prophet told the king what God said. "Look at this big army. I'm going to give it to you. You will win. Then you'll know that I am God." "Who should fight?" asked Ahab. "God says the young leaders will fight," said the prophet. "Who will start the fight?" asked Ahab. "You will," said the prophet. So Ahab called his young army officers. There were 232 of them. And then Ahab got the rest of the army together, and there were 7,000 of them. He sent them out at noon. Now at noon, the king of Aram was in his tent, and the other 32 kings were in their tents. They were getting drunk. The king of Aram had men watching the city of Samaria, and they sent him a message. "Men are coming from the city." "Catch them," said the king of Aram. So the men from Aram went to catch the young officers, but the young officers killed them. Then the army of Aram began running away, and the king of Aram got away on a horse. But King Ahab and his army chased them. He caught up with them. A fight began. King Ahab and his army won. The prophet came back to King Ahab. He said, "Make your army stronger and make your city stronger. The king of Aram will come back to fight. He will come back next spring." And that is the end of our reading for today. Our daily application today is when we saw Elijah, he was scared and he was feeling very sad because he just felt like his all of his work was not having any beneficial effect. How oftentimes have we felt that we are doing God's will and it's just not doing any good? He was very depressed about the fact that he couldn't see any benefit to the work that he was doing for God. He said, "God, I've been serving you, and the people are just not there with you." So he felt that he was not winning anybody for God. Despite all of the amazing things that had happened, God's people had turned away from him. And so he went out into the desert, and he was scared because Jezebel had threatened to kill him. And we see that God's angel came to Elijah. When we see God's angel, do you remember who that is? It's Jesus. So Jesus came to Elijah, and he gave Elijah food and water for a long journey. And then we see that he came a second time, and he provided food and water a second time and said, "You need to eat." God was caring for Elijah. God loved Elijah. And when Elijah was taken on the journey to Mount Horeb, God passed in front of him. And his arrival was heralded with a strong wind, but God wasn't in the wind. And then there was an earthquake, but God wasn't in the earthquake. And fire came. God wasn't in the fire either. But then a soft voice was heard, Let us listen for God's soft voice. He is so tender with Elijah. He was so caring with Elijah. Elijah's spirit and heart were broken, and he was so despondent and sad. He felt like what he was doing was having no effect. And yet God reassured him and said, I have reserved 7,000 people for myself, and they have never kissed Baal's idol. They have never bowed before him. So he was letting Elijah know there were still people who were listening for God and looking for God. All was not lost. All his work was not for nothing. He was doing God's work, and it was having an effect. It was strengthening those people. God had 7,000 people who were reserved for him. Let us listen for God's voice when we feel that what we are doing is having no effect. Don't feel like the work you are doing for God is having no benefit and no good is coming from it. We can't always see the good that is happening, but rest assured, God has good going into it. Our job is to obey, and God will do the rest. And as we see, Elijah obeyed, and God was taking care of the rest. His work and was not for nothing. Your work is not for nothing. My work is not for nothing. Don't let the enemy make you feel scared. God is with you. God was with Elijah. And in that same way that God spoke softly to him, listen for God's soft voice. He will speak softly to you as well. And he speaks softly to me when we are despondent, thinking, I am having no benefit. That is the enemy. Don't let the enemy discourage you. Remember the soft voice that God spoke to Elijah with. And remember that he is soft with you too, and listen for his soft voice. And know that you are also having an effect in this world. And that's our daily application today. I hope you feel God giving you a great big hug today. And I hope that you hear God's soft voice as he speaks to you tenderly and lovingly, that you are not for nothing. Your work is having a benefit in this world where it seems like there is no one left. There are people. We are here. We read in the Bible that as the end times come, that the hearts of everyone will grow colder. There will be less love, and it will become harder to love. And this is how Elijah felt. But don't give up. God says that we must hold strong. Just keep loving. Don't be discouraged. Listen for God's soft voice and know that he is God. Be still and know that he is God. So I hope you feel that God has lit your light today and given you a great big hug. And just if you feel that God has lit your light, then when you're done listening or watching, click that light button so that we can let others know too that they are not for nothing in the world, that they too should listen for God's soft voice, letting them know that their work is still having an effect in the world. And together we can spread the word about reading God's word. I hope everybody has a fabulous rest of their day today, and I will be here for everyone again tomorrow.